Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasati.
Hare Krishna, welcome to the continuation of Bhagavad-gita's second chapter. I'm reading text 28. Avyaktadini bhutani vyaktamadhyani bharata avyaktani dhananyeva tatra ka paridevana. All created beings are unmanifest in the beginning, manifest in their interim state, and unmanifest again when annihilated. So what need is there for lamentation? Purport. Accepting that there are two classes of philosophers, one believing in the existence of the soul, and the other not believing in the existence of the soul, there is no cause for lamentation in either case. Non-believers in the existence of the soul are called atheists by followers of Vedic wisdom. Yet, even if, for argument's sake, we accept this atheistic theory, there is still no cause for lamentation. Apart from the separate existence of the soul, the material elements remain unmanifested before creation. From this subtle state of non-manifestation comes manifestation. From the subtle state of non-manifestation comes manifestation. Just as from ether, air is generated, from air, fire is generated, from fire, water is generated, and from water, earth becomes manifested. From the earth, many varieties of manifestations take place. So that is the Vedic description of the creation. We can find it in the Srimad Bhagavatam. It's also quite elaborate and quite interesting. But we see that just as for our material scientific understanding, creation is a mystery. We may have theories, but it's very difficult to prove those theories, and it is especially difficult to understand the motivation and the drive from how those theories took place. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, we find several chapters dedicated to understanding creation, and there is the primary creation, which delineates how Krishna starts this material creation by giving us the elements and so on. And then there's the secondary manifestation that shows how the universe is constructed under Krishna's guidance in this world. And it is a long process and an intricate process, but that's how it's described, that it starts from the more subtle, it starts from the spiritual level, and then from ether, which we can understand as the space wherein everything else rests, because if there is no space, then the rest of the creation has nowhere to rest. And then from there air comes, and air is also a driving force within the body. It's a little difficult to understand it exactly, but this is the description of the Vedas, so we can see it's all there now, all the water and all the earth and so on. From earth, many varieties of manifestation take place. Take, for example, a big skyscraper manifested from the earth. When it is dismantled, the manifestation becomes again unmanifested and remains as atoms in the ultimate stage. The law of conservation of energy remains, but in course of time, things are manifested and unmanifested. That is the difference. Then what cause is there for lamentation, either in the stage of manifestation or unmanifestation? Somehow or other, even in the unmanifested stage, things are not lost. Both at the beginning and at the end, all elements remain unmanifested, and only in the middle are they manifested. And this does not make any real material difference. So this is a very long-term perspective. And in some senses, we can understand it, and in some senses, our perspective is too small. We can only see the here and the now. But from the Vedas, we understand in the beginning, in the universe, Krishna fills it with the material elements. Lord Brahma, who is the first created living being, organizes it into planets and life forms and so on. And then Vishnu glances over it so the living entities, the souls, can enter, because without the living force, the spiritual energy, nothing really takes place. And then, after a very long time, we have smaller levels of destruction and bigger levels of destruction, and then after that a new cycle of creation takes place. So we may see that through history. We have different states, we have different regimes, we have different groups of people, and they were reaching some elevated level of civilization, and then somehow or another, in due course of time, those civilizations disappeared and other civilization came up. And through it all, human beings have been living there, eating and sleeping and having families and taking care of themselves. That hasn't changed, but somehow the situation goes up and down. And a house, you build a house and you think it's going to last forever, and after 5-10 years you need to paint it again. After, I don't know, 30 or 40 years you need to change all the pipes and the sewage and all of that. You think it's just going to be there, it's my house, but the nature of this material world is everything is broken down, everything has to be, restored and so on. But the material elements are always part of the universe. It's not that we create our paint out of thin air, it is part of the elements within this universe, but they manifest in different stages. And then that, especially if you lived for a while, can make you a little bit philosophical about the temporary nature of this world. Nevertheless, the spirit soul is eternal, and that also remains a fact. And if we accept the Vedic conclusion as stated in the Bhagavad-gita, that these material bodies are perishable in due course of time, antavanta ime deha, but that the soul is eternal, nityas yokta sharirinaha, then we must remember always that the body is like a dress. Therefore, why lament the changing of a dress? The material body has no factual existence in relation to the eternal soul. It is something like a dream. In a dream we may think of flying in the sky or sitting on a chariot as a king, but when we wake up we can see that we are neither in the sky nor seated on the chariot. The Vedic wisdom encourages self-realization on the basis of the non-existence of the material body. Therefore, in either case, whether one believes in the existence of the soul or one does not believe in the existence of the soul, there is no cause for lamentation for the loss of the body. It's a little bit difficult to see it like that, because in the daily life our body, certainly we cannot hang it over a chair when we go to sleep at night. It's always with us. But ultimately the body is there because it covers the soul. The soul is the actual real person that gives it form and purpose and consciousness and life. And if we can come to that understanding, then we can make advancement in our spiritual life. That's the Vedic understanding. If something is not permanent, then it is said to not really have existence, because if existence is there now and at another point it's not there, it doesn't count for very much. Soul is always there, and being in this body is something like a dream. Dreams are marvelous things. Dreams are little miracles in and of themselves. How is it possible? How is it actually possible? We close our eyes and we turn off the outside awareness, and somehow or another an internal awareness appears within which we can be active and we can interact and we can do so many things. And yet at the same time, when we finish our sleep, when we had enough rest, we wake up again and we continue our existence in this body. There is some story that we all have heard about the man who dreamt that he was a bumblebee, and then he woke up, he was confused. Am I now a man or a bumblebee? Because that's a little bit foolish, because the bumblebee dream only lasted for a night, and every night you wake up, you're in the same body. So therefore the dream is extremely temporary. It just lasts for a night or for a few hours. Then we wake up and we're still in this body. But this body, it's a longer dream. It lasts from birth to death. We identify with this body We relate through this body. We determine our activities based on this body and on our identification with it. And then at death, that dream is over. That dream is over, and the next stage, we will have no conscious memory of this body, this existence. We will bring with us some impressions. We will certainly bring with us our karma. The actual body is gone. So if in this life we can start to act with that knowledge, yes, this body is a little bit like a dream, and I will wake up, and how do I prepare for that waking up? It's actually possible to wake up within this lifetime, to wake up to our true spiritual identity. And that's the real benefit of studying the Bhagavad-gita, to be able to distinguish what is a dream and what is reality, and how do we step into that reality where we can be eternally awake. Hare Krishna.
Thank you for watching. We aim for updates every Tuesday and Friday. Please come back. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down there. We also have some links and information for you. And there is, of course, the subscribe button. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
I'm a Hare Krishna, and I approve this message. Subscribe.
Vande